Well, if you live in Colorado, things are getting more expensive. Whether it's your rent bill, your mortgage, your property taxes, or even your grocery bill, life is becoming less affordable for so many. Unfortunately, our state government is not helping out the situation. Proposition HH will be on the November ballot, and this is a deceptive measure designed to trick people into giving up their taxpayer Bill of Rights refunds in exchange for the false hope of property tax relief. Well, thankfully, we have Natalie Menton, one of the great political motivational investigators of our time, who's going to give us some information about how Proposition HH should be defeated in 5 quick, easy ways you can actually create real property tax relief. Well, thanks, Natalie, for being here. Really appreciate what you have to say.
Sure, I'm glad to be here, and we're going to jump into, as you say, 5 quick ways to be able to protect your pocketbook. So if you want to go to the first one, we'll jump right into it. So we've talked about property taxes and how to look it up to see who you're paying property taxes to. As you mentioned, Brandon, whether you own property, you're a renter, you're a consumer, you're a business owner, you're affected by property taxes, which increase the cost of living. So the first is looking at property tax bill. Who are the biggest beneficiaries of those property taxes themselves? Because it's broken out into pieces. One of those one of the larger items that you'll see would be the county commission or county itself. So you're going to send a message to your county commissioners in this step. First, since you're contacting them, ask a simple question about whether property tax caps or revenue limits are in effect for the county. Give the examples of the Taxpayers Bill of Rights or the 5.5% annual mill levy law. We've talked about that in some previous issues, but that's basically, instead of going and digging up these items, ask the county commissioners. At the same time, take the step of putting a public comment on record about the upcoming budget and mill levy hearing that they'll hear or decide in October or November. So in one email, you're able to take care of two things. You're finding out if you've got protections already, or if that mill levy does need to be reduced. The public comment example I gave here goes right to it. I expect my property taxes to be capped to a reasonable amount when you set the mill levy. And I'm being quite generous there because there's arguments about how property should be taxed in any manner. But here in Colorado, that is how local governments do get some or a portion of their revenues. When you email the county commissioner, ask for a response. Obviously, in the part one there, ask a question and expect an answer from this elected representative who, by the way, in most counties is earning $100,000 or more. So it's not like one of these smaller roles. Ask them for a response. So if you want to jump now to the next slide, we'll go into another option some people can use to maybe and hopefully reduce their property taxes. School districts are one of the largest, generally the biggest one, comprising over or amounting to over half of the property tax bill. In some districts, that may mean close to 60% of your property taxes go to schools. It can be expensive. Again, these are elected school board, in this case, school board directors. I gave an example of asking about school enrollment, basically coming down to what percentage of population are you servicing? Is that increasing or is it decreasing? Here in Jefferson County, we've actually seen a decrease in the amount of school attendance. That is not uncommon. That's actually become more of the norm over the last several years. So if less students are using the system, one would think then the property taxes could be adjusted down. How much of the money is going to admin? There's various questions that could be asked. Certainly a lot of people would like to maybe address performance, student achievement, things like that. But I boiled it down to just what's the enrollment. Again, if you're going to contact them, why not also get your public comments on record about the upcoming mill and budget hearing set for, again, October or November, because they have to, in all these cases, file that certified mill with the county by December 15th. So October and November is when they're going to vote. In this case, I used an example of a public comment that a viewer could use. School taxes are one of the largest line items on my property tax bill. In light of this might use however word you want, but in light of the skyrocketing property tax increases, I expect the school board district directors to set the 2023 mill levy at a level that allows me to be able to afford my property taxes. And I'll be it's my own words, very disappointed if I find out that the school district looks at this as a huge windfall instead of considering what taxpayers can afford without harming them. Email them, ask them for their response to this. So let's go ahead and jump to the next one then, Brandon. Finally, this one's a more time sensitive because it is Thursday, August 31st, 9 a.m. We're finally onto the Blue Book hearing. That is that pamphlet booklet with a blue cover on it. Gets mailed to every voter, every household where there's a voter, about roughly a month before the election. It's very important what's in this Blue Book. And on this Thursday will be the public hearing about the wording. There's been some improvements. So I want to thank you to the viewers, because today I went and looked at the public comments, and there's no way that there wasn't some people from this group that participated in that. Actually, I know that for a fact. And it made a difference, but we still have some room to improve upon. The final Blue Book draft is at leg.colorado.gov/ballot analysis. People can read it. And the part I wanted to focus in just is the title. I don't want to drill down into all the pages because there's like 13 pages of Blue Book about Prop HH. Let's just focus on the title for people of limited time. We want to say to the legislative staff and legislative committee, that's the elected state reps and representatives down there, are going to be voting on this on Thursday. What we want to say at a minimum is change that title to State Retention of Tabor Refunds and Limit Property Tax Increases. Because one of the most unknown parts of this, but the most impactful, is that it takes away Tabor refunds, potentially eliminating them completely. Secondarily, because they've taken the refunds first, right? Then with that money, then they lower or limit this huge spike that we've got coming. So that title is much better. You can attend this testimony by virtually, and you can sign up in advance by going to this URL I have listed here, leg.colorado.gov/testimony. Those are 3 quick tips that I've got. What have you got, Brandon?
Perfect. No, appreciate those, Natalie. Great information. Two of the biggest things I want to focus on is getting involved in your local election campaign this November. It's all off your election. Not a lot of people are paying attention. You can have a bigger impact this year than you can many other years. I mean, next year's a presidential election. People are going to be chiming in, getting involved left and right. This year, you can have a relatively minimal effort and have maximal results. So get involved, find out who's running for your city council this year. Find out, do they support taxpayers? Do they support the Taxpayers Bill of Rights? Or are they an authoritarian who wants to take money out of hardworking Colorado families' pocketbooks? So search online. I mean, it's this simple to start. Search city council candidates and your city name. You know, I'm from Arvada, city council candidates, Arvada. It's pretty easy to find the information from most city websites. Of course, not every city website is as easy to navigate as some of the others, but it's a start. Often, their contact information for these candidates is listed on that website. And if it isn't, check their campaign website, check their social media pages. There's usually a relatively easy way to get in touch with these people running for office. They want to hear from the voters. They want to connect and talk to the people who are going to be voting on for them or against them this November. So contact them, ask them, you know, what are you going to do to lower property taxes if you are elected? Will you lower the mill levy if you are elected? They don't know what you're talking about and have a blank stare in their eyes, maybe send them some of the videos that Natalie and I have been working on this last little while here. But if they know what's going on, if they seem like they're willing to make an impact, they're going to be a positive force for change and protect taxpayers in your community, then consider volunteering, consider donating to their campaign. One of the great things is you don't even necessarily have to live in the same community. You can go over to the next city and help somebody over there get elected. You can donate to somebody's campaign across the state. So get involved. Really, maybe this isn't as quick of a tip as some of these others, but the first step is find out who's running for city council in your local community. Find out, are they pro liberty? Are they pro taxpayer? And then decide if you're going to get involved to maybe support or oppose them, depending on who they are. So elections have consequences. This is a great year to get involved. The last one I want to talk about, another time sensitive event coming up here, is going to be on September 2nd here in 2023 from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. in Sloan's Lake, the north central area. You can see a map there. If the flyer that's attached or in this image is too small, of course, you can go on freestatecolorado.com, find the link for this video or the post for this video, and you'll see a bigger version of this to make it easier for you. Sponsored by the Libertarian Party of Colorado, working with a coalition of other mostly grassroots, pro liberty, pro taxpayer organizations and individuals who are working to fight for our freedom here in Colorado, hosting this fundraiser. So show up to support a pro liberty coalition dedicated to defeating Proposition HH. As I mentioned in the beginning, it's the false hope presented by these state legislators, this illusion of property tax relief, which is totally false. There's dozens of articles out already and a lot of other videos discussing what a ripoff Proposition HH is. And of course, the whole reason it's on the ballot is to take away our tax refunds. I mean, the shameful behavior of these politicians when the cost of living is increasing so much, they want to take away our tax rebate money. I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable, but it's about getting the word out. It's about making sure people in the community are aware of what a sham and a scam that Proposition HH is. A great way to do it and connect with fellow like-minded liberty individuals is to attend the Skewer Property HH barbecue on September 2nd. So that's what I got, Natalie. Any parting words here before we adjourn for the day?
Two polls have indicated if people just read the ballot question, Prop HH ballot question, 2/3 of people will vote for it. As soon as people start to know, voters start to know, like the more you know, the more you'll vote no. So for anybody watching this, share this video, share other videos, whatever it may be. Get the word out on Prop HH, and gradually we'll get people understand what is going on here. And thank you, Brandon. That was another great show with you, being able to share with people how they can take action.
Well, appreciate you, Natalie. Appreciate all your work, your dedication over the years to defending our Colorado way of life. People out there, if you want to take your liberty activism to the next level, sign up on freestatecolorado.com for the email newsletter that I'll be sending out here soon. And to stay connected, any other articles that Natalie writes, videos that we do together, I'll make sure to get those out there to the public. But, I think we're just getting started. The liberty community is growing and the future is hopeful, but it's only if we get involved.
Sounds good. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, take care, everybody. We'll see you soon.